everybody, welcome to your in-home yoga practice. I hope everybody's doing okay out there and maybe even better than okay. My name's Lori and thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be guiding you through a practice for about the next hour or so. So let's get started. We are going to start on our backs in Supta Baddha Konasana. So come onto your back and allow the bottoms of the feet to come together and knees begin to relax open to the edges of our mat. And then left hand can be on the heart, right hand can be on the belly. Eyes can become closed and then just begin to settle in and feel the earth supporting you. And here is where we begin to turn our attention to our breath. So let's take a couple cleansing breaths just to help us settle in. And on each exhale, allow the body to relax more into the earth. So begin a deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Another one, deepest breath in you've taken all day. Really feel the ribs expand, the belly fills. Pause. Open mouth, exhale. Good, then lips can gently come closed and we will continue with our breath in and out through the nose. And then just begin to notice the breath. And then begin to lengthen out the breath. Long inhales through the nose. Long, even exhales through the nose. As we lengthen out that breath, it draws our mind's attention to the breath rather than maybe the stressors and the busyness that's going on in the head. So you can begin to practice your Ujjayi breath here, amping up the volume of the breath, constricting the back of the throat, dragging the inhale through the nose, pushing out the exhale with that constricted throat so the breath becomes audible. Couple more rounds of breath here. Gently open the eyes. You can begin to draw the knees together and then bring the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the shins and just give a little rock back and forth on your mat, pressing low back into the mat. And then set feet down and we're going to begin by warming up our core. So if you have a block next to you, you can grab that. If you don't have a block at home, actually a tissue box also would work for this as well. So, and if you don't have either of those, you can simply hold the knee and the arm in place. So I'm going to place the block the longest way at the front side of my knee and I'm going to hold it in place with my elbow. So I have my left leg raised and my right leg raised and my right elbow pressing into that block. Left arm goes long as well as the leg. I inhale, pull belly in. Exhale, lifting foot and hand towards the center. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bringing them together. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lifting shoulder blades off the floor, pulling belly button down towards the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, 2 more. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good, both feet can come down. Let's switch it over to the other side. Foot comes up off the floor, pressing the elbow into the block and into the foot or the tissue box, whatever is working for you today. Right arm reaches long, left or right leg reaches long as well. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunching up to center. Bring shoulder blades up off the floor. Pull belly down towards the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Exhale. In and out. In, out. In, out, pulling that belly in. 2 more here, in and out. 1 more, lengthen and lift. Good, feet come down to the floor. Long body stretch here, arms overhead, legs out long. Perhaps arching the back, pressing abdomen up toward the ceiling. Good. Knees get pulled into the chest once again. Little rock back and forth. And set those feet down. So moving into a bridge pose here. Heels are in towards our glutes. Feet and ankle and knees and hips are all in line with each other. Hands are down at our side. You can press the head into the mat and just tuck shoulder blades underneath. And then pull belly in and press low back to the mat. And then on an inhale, press through the feet, lifting hips up towards the ceiling. No need to take a look at me. Keep the gaze up at the ceiling, protecting the neck here. And then you can also clasp hands underneath the glutes and roll those shoulders underneath a little bit further, and then press hips upward. Continue to press through the inner arches of the feet. Give the glutes a little squeeze here. Inhale, little lift. Exhale, lower down. Good, moving into a second bridge pose once again. Pressing low back to the mat on your exhale. Inhale, lift. And you can shimmy the shoulders underneath the back and clasping onto those hands. Really press knuckles towards the front of your mat. Squeezing inner thighs towards each other so knees are not flaying out to the outer edges of the mat. Inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale, lower down. Draw knees into the chest. A little squeeze. And then begin to rock and roll 2 or 3 times. And we're going to come to a tabletop pose. So moving into your tabletop, knees are under hips, hands are underneath shoulders, crown of the head reaches long, tail reaches long behind you, and the gaze is down between the thumbs. Let's continue warming up here, moving through some cows and cats. Inhale to your cow pose, gaze up, belly presses to the mat. Exhale to cat, rounding the spine, tucking the hips and chin. Good, inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Continue with your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Opening up through the collarbones, drawing shoulder blades down. Exhaling to cat. One more, inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Coming back to neutral spine, let's step right leg long behind us. Hands continue to press into the mat. Press heel away from you for a calf opener. And then right heel becomes light and floats up hip height here. We draw left hip in to square off the hips, belly is pulled in. And then begin to press right hand firmly into the earth as left hand reaches forward for spinal balance. Gaze continues to be down at the thumb. Reaching long, fingertips to toes. Really lengthening out through the arm, through the vertebrae, through the leg here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee, round the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, set it down. Inhale to cow pose. Exhale to cat. Back to neutral. Stepping left foot back, moving to our left side. Press heel away. Crown of the head continues to reach forward. Left heel floats hip height. We draw that right hip in. And then begin to reach right hand forward as if you're shaking somebody's hand here. Belly continues to pull in. And then long line of energy, fingertips to sole of the foot, reaching in opposite directions. Inhale here. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale, lengthen. And set it down. Inhale to cow pose. Exhale to cat. Come back to neutral spine. Let's spread those fingers wide, really pressing in through the thumb and index finger. Tuck the back toes. And then begin to hover the knees just an inch or so and feel the front body engage. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, downward facing dog. So begin to pedal out the feet, bending one knee, then the other. Pressing pads of the fingers into the mat. Bend both knees deeply, tilt the hips upward, and then press thigh bones to the back of the mat in the room that you're in and allow heels to relax down. And then find some stillness here in your downward facing dog. Shake the head out. Take a breath in and a breath out. Breath in, look to the top of your mat, step forward for a halfway lift. So back is flat, crown of the head reaches forward, shoulder blades move down your back towards tailbone, belly's pulled in. Take an inhale here. Exhale, forward fold, moving into a ragdoll. So feet come hip width apart. Knees can be bent. This is more about lengthening out the spine here than it is stretching out the hamstrings. Hands can be loose onto the mat, or you can grab opposite elbows to frame the head. Head is heavy once again, release the neck. Maybe your body is calling for some movement, a little sway front to back or side to side. Maybe your body needs some stillness right now. Good, release the hands down. Toe heel the feet together so big toes touch. Take a bend to the knee, and on an inhale, sweep up to Urdhva Hastasana. reaching high, mountain pose. Pinkies turn inward, glutes are, give a little squeeze there, kneecaps lift. Feel the feet rooting down into the earth. Let's take our arms out to cactus arms here, and then begin to press elbows back, lifting heart center upward, gaze goes up, little back bend. Good, inhale, reach high. Exhale, hands to heart center, forward fold. Inhale to your half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to high plank. Pause in your high plank here. So setting up your high plank, shoulders over wrists, heels are reaching towards the ceiling or the sky above you, belly is pulled in. Inhale, shift forward just an inch or so. On an exhale, lower all the way to the belly, elbows stay in by the sides. Releasing tops of the feet into the mat, forehead comes to the mat, hands are underneath shoulders. Pressing tops of the feet into the mat, inhale, lift just chin and chest for a low cobra. Open up through the collarbones. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift, press elbows to the back of the room. Exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale, low cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, push the earth away to high plank or to your tabletop. Tuck the toes, exhale, downward facing dog. So stay here for a couple breaths in your down dog. And we're going to move through those sun A's, one breath per movement. Taking a breath in and a breath out. Breath in, look to the top of your mat, step forward for a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up, mountain. Exhale, little back bend, press hips forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, lower to the belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, look and step forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise and reach. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower all the way or halfway to chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Inhale, step or hop forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, open up the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, and move through your flow, knowing that you can always skip your flow and move right back to downward facing dog. Take breath here. Inhale, step or hop forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to chair pose. So sitting our hips back, big toes and legs are together here. We're coming to a tall spine. Belly is pulled in. Tailbone draws down towards the mat. So you can also take feet hip width apart, which is going to create a little more space in low back here. A block between the knees is also a good option. So take the weight into your heels, reach arms high. Turning on the quads, wakening them up. Deepen the breath. When our positions and our poses get a little tougher, that's where it's time to really call upon that breath and deepen it. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, draw arms back behind you, reaching fingertips to the back of the mat, and then come up on tiptoes here for drinking bird. Really squeezing thighs in together. Crown of the head is reaching tall. A little opening across heart center. Stay here for the inhale and the exhale. Good. Inhale, back to chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, move through your flow. Inhaling to upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. So allow left heel to relax down to the earth. Bottom of the right sole is pressing to the back of the mat as if there's a wall right behind you. Toes are down. Inhale, lengthen through the right leg. Exhale, draw knee to nose. Bring the knee up towards the nose and then set right foot down next to right thumb. Spin back, heel down. We're moving into Virabhadrasana 1 or Warrior 1. So begin to root down through the legs first. Knee is over ankle. Outer edge of back foot is really pressing to the mat. And then on an inhale, rise to your Warrior 1. So take a moment here to settle into the Warrior 1 pose. Inner thigh rotates towards the center. Left shoulder inches forward as right shoulder draws back. So the shoulders are square to the front of the mat, even though our hips may be angled slightly. Inhale, lengthen through that spine. Exhale, airplane arms. Shoulder blades are squeezing together. Pinkies are rotating inward. Crown of the head reaches long, little up dog chest. Front foot continues to press firmly away from the earth, coming up out of the hip crease on the right side. Inhale, back to Warrior 1. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step right foot back to high plank. Lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath here, in and out. Inhale, left leg high. Relax the right heel down. Hips are square to the mat. Again, pressing left leg long behind you, toes down to the earth. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw knee to nose, lifting the knee up, and then setting left foot down next to left thumb. If it doesn't make it there, that's okay. Go ahead and help it up. And then we're spinning the back heel down and rooting down for our Warrior 1 legs on this side. So taking a moment to root down, and then on an inhale, rising to Warrior 1. Front knee is over front ankle. And then again, adjust those feet. Maybe a little wider stance is going to work better for you today. Shoulders relax down, belly is pulled in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, airplane the arms once again. shoulders are drawing back. Up dog chest, crown of the head reaching forward. Inhale back to warrior one. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step left foot back to meet right. Lower and go through your flow. Inhaling and exhaling. So we'll move through that sun B, 1 breath per movement. Let's take a breath here first. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, look or step forward to the top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale to chair pose. Exhale, drinking bird. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, lower and go through your flow. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands to heart center, step back. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands to heart center, step back, lower. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take breath here. Remember, you can always drop to your knees, come to a child's pose to reconnect with your breath. Get a quick drink. Inhale, right leg high. And then let's begin to open our hip here to the right side of your mat. Perhaps right heel comes down and releases towards the glute. Continue to press into both hands firmly. Inhale, lengthen that leg, squaring off the hips. Exhale, step forward for a low lunge. So setting up your low lunge here, you can bring a little movement, settling into the lunge. I like to straighten my front leg and release it just a couple times. And then crown of the head reaches forward. Hips are buoyant. And then moving into low lunge twist, left hand plants, right arm reaches high, shoulders stack as chest opens up to the right side of your room. Fingertips are reaching towards the ceiling as we really press the earth away with that bottom hand. And then moving into high crescent twist here. So begin to really press the feet into the mat, and then left hand becomes light, and then we use the strength of our legs and our core to open up to high crescent lunge. So if you need to adjust your feet here, that's totally fine. If you're a little wobbly this morning, maybe a little wider stance. And then gaze can be at the left or right side wall or to the back to the right thumb. And then drop right hand to the back thigh, moving into exalted crescent, left arm reaches high. Back leg is straight and strong. Good, inhale back to crescent. Back knee and back hamstring are lifting towards the ceiling. Good, And then pivoting our toes forward, moving into 5-pointed star. Fingers reach to opposite corner of the room. Little lift of the chest here. And then bring hands to hearts or to hips. Ankle the toes inward. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And then begin to hinge at the hips as you press tailbone to the back of the mat and reach crown of the head forward. Move halfway and take a breath here. And on your exhale, release crown of the head to the mat for Prasarita or wide-legged forward fold. Hands can come underneath shoulders, but release the neck completely. Maybe give it a little shake. So our forward folds really are calming to our central nervous system. Hands can reach through underneath the legs. Maybe use those to leverage a little further into this forward fold. Pull belly in, lift the kneecaps to release the hamstrings. Good, hands can come back underneath shoulders. Inhale to that half lift. And then inhale all the way back to standing. And then moving into warrior two. So we're gonna pivot our right toes forward. Left foot is probably about where it is, but needs to be. So setting up those legs, shoulders, hips, and chest are to the left side of your mat. Front knee is tracking towards the pinky toe side, and then when you're ready, you can reach hands front to back here for warrior two. Gaze is soft over the front fingers. And then press the left inner thigh towards the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And on an exhale, move to side angle pose. Right forearm can come to right thigh, or hands can reach down to the ankle, or even to the floor. But I really want you to notice keeping the chest and shoulder open. If the top shoulder is really closed off, maybe come up out of that side angle pose a little bit. Gaze can be at the side wall or up at the thumb, or even down at the mat if you need a little more grounding. Moving into extended side angle. Left arm reaches towards the front of the mat, bicep is by the ear. Right arm can reach back to the back ankle or stay right where it is. And really feel the left foot grounding down in the energy through that open side body here out the fingertips. Good, inhale back to warrior two. So moving into half moon pose. So if you need to find your block, go ahead and adjust where that is. And then perhaps step that back foot up a little bit. And then coming into your half moon pose. I'm gonna adjust on my mat, just so I am not off camera today. And then we press into right foot, and then left arm reaches high as right hand grounds down into the block or on the earth. You can also float right hand for added balance challenge. And then think about rotating the lower left ribs upward towards the ceiling. And then find your breath if you've lost it. And then release left hand down, squaring the hips. Perhaps bring left knee in to help square the hips off. And then lengthen left leg for standing splits. Crown of the head can release towards the mat. And then you can bring one or both hands to the standing ankle. I'm going to keep mine planted this morning. Little squeeze of the left glute. Then inhale, lengthen through that leg. Exhale, Shiva squat. Little curtsy squat here. Left knee behind right. Inhale, back to standing split. Exhale, Shiva squat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Shiva squat. Inhale, one more time, lengthen. Exhale, left foot meets right, forward fold. Inhale, root down, rise and reach, sweeping and clearing the plate here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Move through your flow or press back to downward facing dog. Take breath here. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, open that hip up to the left side of your mat, and then allow the left knee to bend and left heel to release to the glute. Relax right heel down, ground down relatively evenly through both hands. Good length in that leg. Squaring the hips, inhale. Exhale, step left foot forward for that low lunge. So take the time to set up low lunge on this side, maybe rocking back and forth, straightening left leg. And then reaching the crown of the head forward, squaring off the hips to the mat. And then plant right hand inside the left foot for low lunge twist. Gaze can be up at the thumb or the ceiling above. And then begin to really feel the strength of the legs grounding down into the earth here, moving into that high lunge twist or high crescent twist. So bottom hand begins to get light, and then we use the strength of our legs and our core to rise to crescent lunge. Gaze can be back at the thumb. Again, if you have to adjust your feet, take the moment to do that so you find your steady. Drawing left hip forward, and then moving to exalted crescent. Left hand relaxes on the back thigh, right arm reaches high, feeling a stretch through right side body. Good, and then inhale, high crescent here. So adjusting the feet if need be, back leg straight and strong. And then begin to pivot the feet towards the right side. So moving into five-pointed star once again, hands reach to opposite corners. Toes stay angled outward, and we're shifting into horse pose here. So we're setting tailbone down towards the earth, bending our knees. Hands are coming out to cactus arms or goddess arms here. And we're pressing our knees to the back of us. So towards the camera in my case, or to the room behind you. Perhaps releasing hips a little further towards the ground. And then let's take those right toes and come up off of that heel. And then a little dip down in the hips. And then release right heel and lift left. Lower. Release that down. Let's try both. Really needing to squeeze inner thighs together to find some stability. Core is turned on here as well. Lower those. Just drop another inch or so. Stay here. And then inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, warrior two to the front once again. So setting up the feet, pressing right inner thigh towards the front of the mat. Front knee is over front ankle. Settle into your warrior two. Lengthen through that spine. Exhale, side angle pose once again. Right arm reaches high. Left forearm can rest lightly on left thigh or reach down to the ankle. Chest is open. Fingers are actively reaching floor to ceiling. Gaze can be up at your thumb or for grounding down at the mat. Tucking left hip underneath us. And then moving to extended side angle. Fingertips reach to the front of the mat, bicep by the ear. Legs stay steady right where they're at. Inhale back to warrior two. Moving into half moon pose here. So pressing into left leg, left hand comes to the outer corner of your mat, right arm reaches high, and then we're rotating those toes, the right toes upward towards the ceiling, opening up the chest and our hips. Right arm releases down. We square our hips to the mat here, standing splits. So hands can be on the mat. You can also take them to a block to bring the earth a little closer. Or once again, you can take one or both hands to the ankle to challenge the balance this morning. Releasing those hands down. Lengthen through right leg. Exhale, Shiva squat, bending left knee, tucking right knee behind. Inhale, lengthen, standing split. Exhale, Shiva squat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, Shiva squat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right foot meets left forward fold. Inhale, sweep up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, moving through your flow. Exhaling, inhaling, upward facing. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Taking breath here. And just notice how this downward facing dog feels differently than the first one we did in our practice today. Maybe backs of the legs are a little more open. And inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right knee to right elbow, give it a tap. Inhale, high. Exhale, right knee to left elbow, little tap and a twist. Inhale, high. Exhale, set right foot down next to right thumb. And then moving into Anjaneyasana here. So we're going to drop our back knee and release the top of our foot into the mat. And then begin to come up to a tall spine, reaching arms forward. And allow your hips to open and press to the front of your mat here. And just find some release and tension. Perhaps you're holding some in your jaw or in your shoulders. Let that go. Let's release our hands down, moving into half split pose here. So we're gonna just shift our hips back as we lengthen front leg. get a better stretch by keeping my hips up off of my back heel. You might want to play around with it and see where the stretch is doing more good for your body. Toes are reaching towards my knee. Release the tension in the neck. And I'm pressing through my right heel as I draw my right hip back. Although my leg is not actually moving, I'm going to feel the difference in the squaring of my hips and the stretch through the back side of my right leg. Good, coming back forward. Tuck the back toes, plant the hands, step right foot back to high plank here, and then press back downward facing dog. Take a breath in and out. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, tap left knee to right, left elbow. Inhale, high. Exhale, knee to right, elbow, little twist. Inhale, high. Exhale, left foot next to left thumb. Anjaneyasana on this side. So dropping the back knee, flipping our back toes, and then rising our arms upward, relaxing our shoulders down, and allowing that right hip to press forward and to release towards the earth into the front of the mat. This is a great stretch for the front hip flexor. Good, let's release the hands down on either side of the left foot and then begin to straighten the front leg, shifting hips to the back of the mat. Toes come up off of the mat and reach towards our knee or our nose. And again, pressing my left heel into the mat as I draw left hip back and shift right hip forward. I inhale, lengthen through my spine, and on my exhale, I fold a little deeper over that front leg. Lift my left kneecap to engage the front of my quad and release the hamstring behind. Good, walking hands forward. Tucking the back toes, plant my hands, step left foot back next to right. High plank pose here, and we're gonna hold in our high plank just for a few rounds of breath. So hips are in line with our shoulders, belly's pulled in, pressing earth away. And then we're gonna slowly lower, keeping elbows into our sides. All the way down, releasing to the belly. Tops of our toes and heels can relax open. Hands can come down to the side. Release one cheek to the mat. And just take a couple breaths here. Lifting the chin, resting the other cheek to the mat. Good, and moving into a couple back bends here. So forehead comes to the center of the mat. Feet are close together here. Some people say zip the legs. Some say about hip width apart. But keeping inner thighs drawn towards each other. Palms are turned down. We're moving into a locust pose here. I like to actually tuck my toes and press them into the mat to lift the quads and the kneecaps up off of the earth. So to engage the front of my legs here. So on an inhale, lift chin and chest, arms float, and then perhaps feet float up and point to the back of the room. Gaze is down at your mat to keep the neck long here. Squeezing the glutes slightly. Fingers are reaching behind us. Shoulder blades are squeezing together. Inhale, lift, and exhale, release. Cheek to the mat. Just for a couple rounds of breath. Forehead comes back to center. We're going to do one more of those. I'm going to suggest that we clasp hands at low back here to open up across collarbones and shoulders. Again, engaging the front of the legs by pressing the toes in. And then on an inhale, we lift chin and chest, legs float. We're pressing knuckles to the room behind us. Continue to breathe deeply. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. Good, hands underneath shoulders, and you can press back here to a modified child's pose. I like to bring my feet together, sit my hips back, and then rest my forehead on the earth, sweeping my arms back behind us. It's a good release for low back here after those back bends. And then come back up onto tabletop. Press back to your downward facing dog. Hips lift, shift back. Spreading those fingers wide. Opening up across the upper back here. Rotating armpits towards the center of the mat. It's your last downward dog of the practice. Couple inhales with open mouth exhale. So deep inhale through the nose. Open mouth exhale. One more. Exhale. Step to the top of your mat and then have a seat. So come all the way down onto your back here. And we're going to move into a spinal twist. So draw the heels in towards the seat. Arms can be cactus arms, or you can reach them long out to a T. And then cross right leg over left and press our thighs together, moving into twisted root. So our shins can raise here, and then begin to release the knees over to the left side of the mat. And if twisted root is too intense of a twist here, you can certainly just stack knees on top of each other. So whatever's working for your body today. We continue to press right shoulder firmly into the mat, and then perhaps gaze goes over to our right thumb, and the back of our head begins to open up to the left side wall. So we're releasing our breath. Good, then coming back to center, unwrap the legs. Just give the hips a little lift to realign the spine, and then left leg crosses over right. Again, stacking knees, or perhaps twisting into twisted root, and then knees fall over to the right side of the mat. Gaze comes over to the left thumb or up at the ceiling above you, pressing left shoulder and shoulder blade into the mat. And it's not just our gaze that moves, but it's actually rotating over on to our left side temple, so the back of our head is opened up to the right side of the room. Knees can come back to center here. Untwist the legs, maybe a little hip lift once again. And then bring knees in towards armpits for happy baby. So continue to press low back into the earth. So if you feel the spine coming up off of the earth, you can play around with your grip. It might be grabbing the backs of the thighs, maybe it is grabbing onto the ankles, inside the feet or outside the feet. You have a lot of options here. So press low back in, and our hands press into our feet as our feet press into our hands. And then maybe you decide you want to stay here or bring a little movement side to side. I like to straighten one leg for a hamstring stretch, and then the other. And then release the feet. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Let's take that forehead all the way up to the knees here. Take a deep breath in. And release into Shavasana, your final resting pose. So legs can go long. Take up some space. You're in your house. You can spread out. Toes flap open. Eyes go closed. Deep breath in here. Open mouth, exhale. Let it go. Just noticing where the earth, once again, is holding up your body. And try to release into it. Release the jaw. Bring the tongue off of the roof of the mouth. Notice that space between the eyebrows and bring some softness there. Bring some awareness back to your body by deepening your breath. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take a long body stretch, reaching overhead. Feet go long, arms go long. Drawing knees into your chest, and you can roll over onto your right side using your arm as a pillow. Press your body up, facing the front of your mat to a cross-legged seated position. Eyes can remain closed or maybe gently down at the floor in front of you. Spine is long, but shoulders are relaxed. Jaw remains released here, and you bring hands to heart center. So I wish all of you well under this stay-home order. Take time for your practice on your mat. Take time to enjoy something that really brings a smile to your face. Thank you for practicing with me today. And we're going to end our practice with a community breath together. So release your exhale. Draw a long inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Bowing forward. Namaste. Have a great day, everyone.